Around the shop, we get a chance to work on a lot of cool stuff, but today, what we're going to do is we're going to work on the Woody's Hot Rods faux race car that we like to drag around to shows and play with. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to put in a new Johns Industries 9-inch Ford rear end that Johns makes as a bolt-in application for these cars. Comes with a stock width, 60 inches, brake to brake, with the spring perches in the locations they already need to be, so it literally is a drop-in application. And one of the weak spots on an original Tri-5 is the rear end, and a Ford 9-inch will definitely beef that up. One of the things that we really like about this is this particular rear end is a stock width, but John will make it with a narrowed width. We opted for a stock width 60-inch rear end, but with the spring perches in the narrowed location, which means we're going to have to inboard the leaf springs. So in order to do that, we're going to use a Performance Online inboard kit that's available through Woody's Hot Rods, a new set of leaf springs from Dan Chuck, and to top it all off, a new set of Krager SS's from Krager wrapped in some new Firestone rubber from Coker Tire. It'll be a fun one.
Before we start the installation of the new Ford 9-inch, we had to get the old rear end along with everything else out. To install the leaf spring conversion kit, we went ahead and removed the axle, the leaf springs, brake lines, fuel lines, everything out of the way, along with the fuel tank itself. And what we're going to do is, since we've got everything out, we're going to go ahead and upgrade to a Golden Star all stainless steel fuel tank for the Tri-5s, which is available at Woody's Hot Rods. What we're going to go ahead and do is remove, by cutting off the rear leaf spring mount in order to make room for the new, along with the forward leaf spring mount, so that we can start cutting out the pocket itself for the relocation kit. Here we are with our 1957 Chevrolet that we're installing the POL brand leaf spring relocation kit. Comes with everything to inboard the leaf springs on an axle on these cars, including the axle spring perch, which you can weld onto the axle. We've actually opted for the Johns 9-inch that already has the spring perches welded on along with our pinion angle. The first thing we have to do in the relocation kit of the leaf springs is to remove the forward mounting location for the leaf spring, along with the rear mounting location for the shackle. As per the kit, which is very in-depth, is to mark out the location of the pocket we're going to weld in. By doing so, we measured the width of the leaf or the frame rail and then centered this underneath of it. The kit has you center the eyelet of the new pocket into the original eyelet of the leaf spring.
Go ahead.
What I had done here was set the relocation pocket up against the frame rail, centering the hole up, and then found my leading edge line and marked a line here to tell me where the pocket kit would stop at. And then by measuring the frame rail thickness, which is 4 inches, measuring the thickness of the spring relocation pocket, which is 3 inches, I merely added my center and then separated the distance in order to get my line, which is about 1/4 inch on either side of the frame rail, and then marked out our cut line. On the rear, we actually, once the pocket's installed, measure out 57 inches, install this bracket on top of the frame rail, center to center the front eyelet of the leaf spring along with the rear of the shackle to find our location, center on the axle, and then from there we actually measure back 4 inches from the center of this bolt to the trailing edge of this bracket, set it up against the outside of the frame rail here, and then we can trace out our cut line. What we're going to do here is actually measure out the location of the upper mount. Just measure from the center of the forward leaf spring bolt, 57 inches, center of the rear shackle for the upper. Now we can take our bracket here and transfer the mark down 4 inches from the center of the upper bolt. Mark that on the rear side of the bracket.
grease pencil, a piece of chalk works great so you can actually see the lines. And then just install that bracket on the outside of the frame, just enough where it sits to the bottom of the frame rail. Take your marking device, trace out the outside.
Now that we have the pocket kit installed, welded in, painted, now it's time to grease the supplied polyurethane bushings for the rear shackles. A little grease on there. The kit also has the sleeve that the hardware itself rides on. Put a little grease on there as well. And then we will assemble the leaf springs to the axle and slide everything in as one unit.